So Windbrain Waste just got reset, and with it we've gotten access to new tokens as well, just like every reset. And the tokens that was provided in this reset is actually quite funny because Kuro keeps power creeping leakers. The thing is, this token right here amplifies heavy attack damage and electro damage by 50%, which is basically a hint that this token was well made for Augusta because no electro main DPS in the game right now scales off heavy attack damage. Zhang Liao's damage output is heavily focused on liberation damage, while Calculator is kinda like split between heavy attack and liberation damage, but majority of his damage output comes from liberation damage. His Forte circuit in the normal state, that is not in his liberation state, is considered as heavy attack damage, but since most of his damage output will be available only if he activates his liberation, and activating his liberation gives you access to Death Messenger, which is his main source of dealing damage and is considered as liberation damage. So basically what I'm trying to say is that this token right here is basically a hint or an official leak that Augusta will scale off heavy attack damage since her attribute, which is Electro, has already been provided by Kuro Games. I'll make a dedicated video very soon using the information that we've gotten from this token to be able to come up with their team building options as a main damage dealer and as a hybrid that can perform some kind of sustain capabilities or buffing capabilities to other Electro teammates. But for now, let's go over what we have in this reset. As you can see right here, I haven't done the infinite torrent because I want to do it live, and what you need to know about these low difficulty stages is that you need to know how to prioritize your tokens or how you use your tokens. For example, challenge level 7 is not that difficult, so the tokens that I've been using is the one that buffs all characters crit damage by 40%, and at level 8 I also use the crit damage token. But when we get to level 9, 10 and 11, that is where things get a little bit more difficult, so you need to know how to prioritize your token usage. So you can decide to use some of the 5-star tokens in challenge level 9, 10 and 11, but I decided not to use them and focused on these 3 tokens right here, which is the Pilgrim's Captain Seal, Plunderer's Captain Seal and the Reveler's Captain Seal. In terms of how powerful these tokens are, this one takes the first place, the Plunderer's Captain Seal, which is why I used it in challenge level 11. But when it gets to challenge 10, as you can see right here, I use the Reveler's Captain Seal, which amplifies all attribute damage by 25%. And when we get to challenge 9, for example, I use the Pilgrim's Captain Seal, which is kind of like the weakest among the 4-star tokens, so it should take low priority. What I recommend is that if any one of these golden tokens synergize with any of the DPS characters that you're going to use, you can decide to use this token in addition to 2 of these 4-star tokens. So the Reveler's Captain Seal and the Plunderer's Captain Seal will be the ideal tokens that you're supposed to use in addition to the 5-star tokens. Now, speaking of the 5-star tokens, let's see exactly what they do. This one was actually provided to us in the last reset. I'm not really a fan of this token because what it basically does is that, for example, if Brent casts his Liberation, he gains the 2 points of energy right here. And basically what these 2 points of energy does is that whenever Brent uses Liberation, for example, it'll discharge 3 fusion AoE attacks, as you can see right here, which will consume 1 point of energy. But the problem here is that Brent doesn't have any other source of damage aside from his Liberation that is considered as Liberation damage, so he won't be able to trigger another 3 AoE fusion attacks. However, if you're using Lupa, casting his Liberation consumes 1 point of energy to be able to proc the fusion AoE damage 3 times, and then using her Forte skill will also proc the 3 fusion AoE attacks. So this token is limited to Lupa. For this particular token, it's actually quite similar to the buffs that we have in the middle tower. Cantarella won't be able to trigger these effects multiple times, even though majority of her abilities like the Liberation, Forte Circuit, and Flickering Reverie skill are all considered as Echo skill. This token is actually not that bad in my opinion, because all Havoc DPS units like Havoc Rover and Camellia can use it, for example. So basically what this means is that you can trigger the 800% Havoc damage to all nearby targets once every 2 rotations, since you can use your Echo skill once per rotation. Moving on to the best token so far in this reset in my opinion. It amplifies heavy attack damage and electro damage by 50%. Zhang Liao can use this token, but keep in mind that you only benefit from the 50% electro damage amplification. Jiyan can also make use of this token because of the heavy attack damage amplification. So let's head into the Infinite Torrent and see the enemies that we've been presented with. So in the first half, we have two kinds of enemies who are resistant to spectral damage, and Chop Chop, who is also resistant to fusion damage. And in the second half, we have two enemies that are heavily resistant to spectral damage. So that means any other main damage dealer that does not have the spectral attribute or the glacial attribute will do just fine. I'm going to be using a Phrolova team in the first half because Phrolova does not depend on resonance energy to be able to use her liberation. Hence, the first floor that actually gives everyone 100 concerto energy will be good for the Phrolova team. But in the second team, I'm going to use Jiyan because he mainly depends on his liberation to be able to do damage. I don't have Rocha on my account. I'm currently trying to get her and I'm at 40 pity. So in the meantime, Sanhua will do just fine. We're going to be using this token right here, which is actually well made for the Phrolova team. And then select this token right here, which amplifies heavy attack damage by 50%. Let's take a look at their builds real quick. And also, this Phrolova team without Rocha will actually be really good to prove to you guys that Cantarella actually excels in controlling mob type enemies, even though she cannot group them, but she can constantly freeze them and do damage to them at the same time and prevent them from splitting up as well. So for Sanhua, I'm using Emerald of Genesis. She's on Moonlit Clouds. And for Cantarella, I'll be using Augment for her build. This is what we have. It's not that decent, but I'm trying to optimize it. And she's at S0. For Phrolova, she'll be using String Master. And this is what we have for her echoes. And she's at Sequence 0. For the Jiyan team, this is what we have.
Of your will.
For Mortefi, he doesn't have that much investment in terms of actually leveling up his talent, so he's not going to be doing that much damage anyway. But he's at S6, so the attack buff can really benefit Jiyan. And for the man himself, he'll be using Verdant Summit. And he's at S0. Alright, that's it for the build showcase. Let's get into it.
Symphony of life. Absolute waves. Rejoicing, charmed. Songs of old.
Shackles be gone.
Feel the tide fall. Sink into the endless deep. Oblivion. Thus, you fold symphony of life. We will upheed the echoes. Witness blossoms in wind.
Stay behind me. Lotus pervade.
Feel the tide fall. Sleep in the whispers of silence. Oh, this will be annihilation. Symphony of life. Absolute utility. Life or death, no alternative. Charmed. Songs of old.
Stay behind me. Shackles be gone. Engrave.
I'll keep you thinking. Sink
into the endless deep. Surrender to it. Eldest.
Oblivion. We with me must rumble, symphony of life. Heed the echoes. The soul, never in tune.
Stay behind. Lotus pervade. A change of perception.
Take a breath.
I wanted us to get 3,000, but it's fine. It's fine. 2,980. It's fine. It's fine. For this team, we're going to be doing a little bit of animation cancelling to be able to outro quickly with Mortefi.
Worry not.
Seven, lend me your power.
Dim astral modulation. Loading. Yay.
Fury boils, as you wish. Feel my wrath. Let's ready for battle. Unstoppable. No way. Lend me your power.
Oath from the heart.
Burn!
Iron graft renew. Loading.
Fury boils. Burn to ashes. Let's tear wide open this and fear no more. Lend me your power.
Ordain. In war with time. Load.
Fury boils. Silence! Inferno! Let's ready for battle. Unstoppable. Lend me your power.
Oath from the heart.
Leave me alone.
Diminish.
Burn to ashes! Burn!
Iron graft renew. Load.
Fury boils. You're wide open. Fear no more. Lend me your power.
Ordain.
Inferno! Feel my wrath!
Loading.
We got 2,000 points in the second half, and we got 2,980, which is almost 3,000 in the first half, as a first try showcase with S0R1 Jiyan and S0R0 Phrolova. I think we did pretty well. If you found the video helpful in any way, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to support the channel because it's free and you can always change your mind. Be sure to also join our Discord community if you're having any issues with the game or you just want a place to chill or hang out. Link will be in the pinned comment below. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.